Wow, guys, this was a stunning eruption today from Mount Lewotobi Laki Laki in Indonesia on Flores Island. It has unleashed one of the most powerful volcanic events in the region since 2010. And not only once today, twice in the evening, another force of ash up in the air as high as 11 miles, and this time it had way more impact than the last eruptions. It has dumped this massive, very impressive, strange looking, unusual looking ash cloud. Seems like to have this white column and then all this ash. 11 miles in the air has caused flight cancellations, dozens of flights, and has dumped ash on villages like crazy. So thankfully, no casualties were immediately reported. Let's hope, guys, it remains like this. And the volcano on Flores Islands, it's like twin craters. One is female, one is male. It has been at the highest alert level since the last eruption on June 18th. I have reported about this. I've showed you the pictures. That was an impressive one already. And the exclusion zone around the volcano was doubled to a 4.3 mile radius because the eruptions had become more frequent and are still becoming more frequent and more powerful right now. And Indonesia's geology agency has recorded, that's what they're reporting, an avalanche of searing gas clouds that are mixed with rocks and lava that is traveling up to 3 miles down the slopes. So not only what it has spitting out high up in the air, it's also coming down the slopes of that 5,200, almost 5,200 feet tall mountain, stratovolcano. And they have also done some drone observations, and they show us that the crater is filling up with lava. So there is lots of lava coming out as well. So that indicates, according to the scientists, that we're dealing with a deep magma movement here at that volcano that also has set off earthquakes. So the eruption came with earthquakes. Of course, it rattles if magma is rising up from deeper depth. So just after 11 a.m. on Monday, the initial column, how we call it, hot ash, hot clouds, rose up. That was the volcano's highest spit out of material since it had a major eruption in November 2024. Unfortunately, that one was bad, tragic, has ended 9 people and has injured dozens of people. Then it erupted again in March and then in June this year. And what the chief of the geology, the local geology agency is saying, he said, an eruption of that size certainly carries a higher potential for danger, including its impact on aviation. He said, quote, "We shall reevaluate to enlarge its danger zone that must be cleared off villagers and tourist activities." So it seems they're thinking about making that 4-point-something mile radius even larger so that they can really be sure that there's no tourists running around there. Don't do that if you're a tourist. I've showed you a video where tourists are getting too close. I'll put it in the end screen. It shows many tourists that are too close to disaster. So they're making statements publicly everywhere, urging the residents, the public, and the tourists to stay away at least the 4 miles from the eruption and to remain calm and follow directions of the local government. He also notes that the people that live there or are in the area right now, in that disaster-prone area, they should be aware of potential lava floods if heavy rain occurs, which is possible at any time. And then, after that same day, the volcano erupts again at 7:30 p.m., spewing lava again, sending clouds of ash up to 8 miles up in the air. So by Monday afternoon already, at least 24 flights between Bali and Australia, Singapore, South Korea were canceled, and many others were delayed. Same thing with several flights on domestic routes were also canceled. So far, they think the ash had not or has not affected Bali's airspace so far. And that falling ash from the first eruption already has blanketed, we really say blanketed, several villages with debris, volcanic rocks. Sometimes you hear them falling, and has blocked sunlight for almost half an hour after the initial eruption. And what the volcanic agency is reporting, that volcanic materials the size of your thumb, gravel and ash, were thrown up to 5 miles from the crater. So if that hits you, because it comes at very high speed, you better not be close. So that's why probably if it's 5 miles from the crater, they should at least make that exclusion zone 5 miles, a little bit over 5 miles. So that cloud has exploded and has then also formed this mushroom shape again, with tons of debris has covered the houses. You see it on their rooftops in the nearby villages. And some residents were really running in panic from that, how can we call it, like rain of volcanic materials. And they were trying to flee, like outrun it, drive away on motorbikes and cars. And why did we see these powerful eruptions today? There's a reason for it. And what they're saying is that the eruptions, both Monday eruptions, were the result of the accumulation of energy due to a blockage of magma in the crater. So of course, if the magma can't get out, try to shake a sparkling wine bottle and see what happens with the cork. So the blockage has reduced detectable seismic activity while it has built up pressure, so it became quiet. So the initial eruption was one of Indonesia's largest since 2010, when Mount Merapi, the country's most volatile volcano, erupted on the densely populated island of Java, has ended 353 people, forced over 350,000 people to evacuate. So this gives you the scale of how big that eruption is or was on Monday. And we should not forget, Indonesia is highly densely populated. It's an archipelago with more than 280 million people that have to deal with frequent seismic activity like earthquakes, but also volcanic eruptions, because it has 120 active volcanoes. And why? Because it sits along the famous Pacific Ring of Fire that is quite extraordinarily active at the moment. That's basically this horseshoe-shaped series of seismic fault lines, subduction zones that is encircling the Pacific Basin. Most of the world's dangerous earthquakes and volcanoes sit there, are happening there, guys. So if you want to see more about what's going on, a mysterious earthquake swarm in Japan, and now they have detected crustal movement, accelerated crustal movement. So the plates were moving 4 centimeters just shortly before the last 5.5 earthquake. So is there a domino effect going on with volcanoes? Because they're erupting at the same time. They keep like plop, plop, plop. They're erupting and spewing out explosively. So check this out. Very, very interesting, guys. I see you there. If you want to support the channel, buy me a coffee, an iced one, please. It's heiß. It's hot right now. Heiß, that's in German. Check the link in the description. There's my Buy Me a Coffee site. If you leave me a message, I will answer with a 30-second video. We can chat with each other. And if you want to become a supporting channel member here for behind the scenes stuff, click the join button. Thank you for your supers here. Thank you for your support. And I see you very soon. Really check out the end screen if you haven't seen it yet. If you have seen that one, check out Campi Flegrei, what the official president of the INGV is saying. When I read that, I was, whoa, I don't believe that. Check it out. Bye, guys.